Brought to you by StationHouseCoffee.com and InspiredDisorder.com/Prime.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Swipe Up, the show where I share some of my favorite posts from Instagram. This is the 106th time I've done this show. Let's get into it with just a video that completely encapsulates my experience throughout, at least for sure, the beginning part of this quarantine. Things have leveled off a bit, but when it started, it was much like this bus here. So it's a giant, like, tour bus on a road that's on, like, cliffs on both sides, one-lane road, and this dude is trying to do, or woman, trying to do a U-turn. And the wheels are off the sides. Like, right here, right there, death. Right there's death. That's probably like my April or May or June. I don't remember. So much of the quarantine has just been a blur. But it's very encapsulates. First off, I don't know how. First off, I don't know if this video is real. I assume it's real. I don't know who is in the bus. Like, I can't imagine being anybody in that bus. Any of the passengers, any of the driver. Like, how do you know? How does this happen? I mean, when it tips the front end, like if you were driving this bus and you're at that part where it's tipping forward and the ass end of your bus is like 45 degrees right here, right? Like, you just have to be ready for death at that point. And somehow he turned around. Or she turned around. They turned around. Like, almost stuck right there. That's just insane. I don't know where that comes from, but that is a visual expression of what it felt like for me during quarantine, especially during the beginning. All right, moving on now. This one from Fat Mike Dude. Trump success stories. Now, as I'm recording this, Trump has since gotten COVID and is in the hospital, but when I put this together a few days ago, he hadn't yet reported. So he may still have had COVID when I liked this post originally, but anyway, let's just go over his successes. I'll just read it. I'm the best businessman in the world because I know how to negotiate. Number one, bought the Trump Plaza Hotel for $400 million, repossessed by the bank. Number two, bought his yacht for $29 million, repossessed by the bank. Number three, built 4 casinos at the cost of $3 billion. Filed for bankruptcy and went out of business. Stiffed contractors and employees. Number four, started Trump Airlines, never made a profit. Planes and helicopters repossessed by Citibank. Number five, finally, Trump Mortgage, Trump Vodka, and Trump Steaks all went out of business. So, very unsuccessful businessman, very unsuccessful president, and very unsuccessful human at trying to convince people that the coronavirus is a hoax when you're in the hospital dealing with it. Moving on from, like, somebody that's never done anything important in his life, like somehow failed his way up, to people that have actually built their careers and legacies from the ground up with hard work and determination through actual competition, that being McGregor versus Poirier. McGregor wanted to set up a charity sparring event, quote-unquote, MMA, with Dustin Poirier for their rematch, which I think was probably a business thing to force the hand of UFC to book it, because he was going to do a charity thing December 12th. I don't even know if this is still going on. This is a poster by Boss Logic, which is an amazing poster. It would be awesome if this happened for charity, just to see how it would look as a charity event. But I think it was more of Conor trying to force the UFC's hand because he's had some drama with Dana White, trying to get fights booked, nothing happening. Obviously, the coronavirus probably throwing a wrench in a lot of plans. But it's definitely a fight I'm looking forward to seeing. I think it's going to happen. I think I saw a UFC post saying that this fight was on. But I'm not quite informed enough to be saying that right now on the show. Either way, I'm looking forward to McGregor and Poirier fight. I'm sure they will raise, whether it's a charity fight or a UFC fight, I'm sure they will be raising a ton of money for Dustin Poirier's The Good Fight charity, which I love that. I love that there's a lot of fighters out there that are very charitable and do a lot of good things for people. So shout out to them. And now let's move on here. Of course, fire's a big thing in California. It doesn't seem like anything since Trump went to the hospital with COVID. It really seems like everything's kind of calmed down. It almost feels like all the fires have stopped. It kind of feels like, the pandemic's not really that bad. But this is a thing. I guess there's a lot of farmers up in Northern California that did not want to evacuate because of the fires. A lot of marijuana farmers, especially, I would imagine it's somewhere around Humboldt County. That tended to be the kind of the mecca for bomb dank weed. And this is just video of people driving out. Sheriff's office warns against last-minute wildfire evacuations. No duh, man. So hopefully everybody's safe. If they are marijuana farms burning up, I would wonder if just going outside would get you high. If so, I'm sure there's a lot of other burning materials and the weed isn't cured properly. But if you ever watch that movie Without a Paddle, comedy, three friends go on a trip, kind of get stranded. There's a scene where they're in a weed field that gets set on fire. They shoot off flares, and it sets the whole crop of weed on fire, and everybody gets high. I don't know how realistic that can if that happened, you have to cure weed, and you have to do stuff before you can just smoke it. I think. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you can just smoke it right off the thing. Maybe it just doesn't burn as good. I don't know the science of marijuana. I just use it. Now, last but not least, the epic photographer, All Elbows, is Esther Lin, is retiring or leaving her career as a photographer to pursue different endeavors. I think she's getting into different parts of production. But this is one of her historic photos. She follows, as far as MMA, I used to do a lot of Photoshops using MMA photos to promote my old podcast, and Esther Lin was one of the photographers that I used a lot of her photos for. She has some of the most classic, iconic, historic MMA photos or combat photos that I've seen, and it's kind of kind of sad to see her leaving. But I'm excited I'm excited for her and her journey. And I'm sure at some point, if things open back up, she'll have a job. I can't see why. I can't see why ESPN wouldn't hire her, right? She was working for MMA fighting, and because there's no crowds, she hasn't really had any work. But big ups to her, Esther Lin, in her next journey. And thank you for all the amazing images that you were able to capture from one of the greatest sports known to mankind. Let's do some shout outs and get out of here, shall we? Shout out to All Things Comedy. Shout out Damon Wayans _. Shout out Fat Mike Dude, Boss Logic, Notorious MMA, Dustin Poirier, The Good Fight. I don't know if that's the actual handle or not, but shout out to them anyway. Shout out to NPR, MMA History Today, and shout out All Elbows. And most importantly, shout out to you. Make sure you support our sponsor, stationhousecoffee.com, and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram. Order yourself some amazing small batch, single origin, premium coffee brewed in Thetford Center, Vermont, and shipped directly to you. Go to stationhousecoffee.com and order yourself some coffee today. Also, get yourself 30 days free of Amazon Prime. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Prime. You know all the benefits you get with Prime. You get the unlimited streaming of all their movies and TV shows and music. You get to borrow Kindle books. And, of course, when you order stuff on Amazon, it shows up as fast as it could possibly show up for free. Free shipping, free movies, free TV, free music, all kinds of free stuff for 30 days when you sign up for Amazon Prime, 30-day free trial. Use my link, inspireddisorder.com/Prime. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a great day, everybody. Peace. Oh!